Well, Linda, of course, Florida lagged many other states in ordering statewide shutdowns. The state administration took some heat over that, and yet here we are. This state appears to have passed the peak based on the data that we're seeing right now, earlier than projected and expected. And it appears to be a combination of factors that really set Florida apart and make it unique from much of the nation.
We have counties that have hundreds of thousands of people that have relatively low infection rates.
Yes, and those counties have a spread out population. The Tampa Bay area is one of the most populous regions in the country, but it's also more spread out. We don't have the same level of density, for example, as other big cities. This is one example of how sprawl may have worked to our advantage. And with so much sprawl and a lack of density, Florida does not have the same level of mass transit. Unlike the packed subways of New York, most Floridians travel by car and therefore stay separated from other commuters each day as such. Plus, Florida's comparatively warmer weather may be a factor as well, as scientists believe the virus may be heat sensitive. But on the other hand, Florida also has a unique economy that exposes our state to a much greater hit even after the virus runs its course. For example, Florida is heavily invested in agriculture, and the farmers who drive much of our economy work most of their contracts with places that are now closed, so millions of pounds of produce are projected to rot and waste. And of course, Florida's economy also depends very heavily on tourism, which depends on tourists with disposable income. Even when the pandemic ends with millions of job losses, many of those tourists won't likely have as much money saved up. And that could lead to significant reductions in spending and travel that could trigger more job losses in Florida, where more than 688,000 have already applied for unemployment.
If I don't get paid for all this, my unemployment, I'm going to be in big trouble.
And with that, of course, the rolls of people seeking unemployment claims continues to grow, which we'll update coming up in the next hour. But if you look at the data on Florida's economy, it's all showing the same points and the same projections. I'll cite Volusion Marketing showing 23% of Tampa Bay's existing workforce is tied to industries most directly affected by the pandemic. And with that, it ranks the Tampa Bay area as the 7th most vulnerable region in the entire country, with the effects not fully known for our economy for months and possibly, Linda, years yet to come.
Wow, that's not good. Where does Florida rank as the most vulnerable state?
At or near the top. Citing of the Volusion numbers, for example, it ranks Hawaii and Nevada ahead of Tampa Bay for reasons you would expect, their reliance on tourism as well. But it depends on the data you look at, and beyond just the impact it can have on tourism. If you look at Florida's comparatively older population relative to other states, the fact that there are projections by health and science experts, our nation's leaders, saying that there will likely be a second outbreak to some extent this fall. To what extent then will people want to book travel once the pandemic does lift this summer? All of these are concerns that pose a significant and potentially lasting effect on our economy.
All right. I know you'll keep us updated on all of this. Thank you, Craig.